Hey guys, welcome to sportsbookreview.com. Your host Natalie Van Rijtstrom here, introducing the team Flash. Big man, and you may notice a new face. His name is Russ. He's joining us this week on the Premier League. First of all, Flash, big man, welcome to the show. And Russ, how's it going there? Are you happy to be on the Premier League Punters show? Do you feel confident heading into this week?
Yeah, I've done my homework, and obviously Man United are playing tonight, but I'm confident. Hopefully, we can give the viewers a few winners.
Yeah. Well, listen, up 7 units. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to send the information through to the graphics department, so I'm manually having to tell you what it is. I did post some of the record up on my Twitter at Natalie Rijtstrom if you guys want to go and check it out. But as it stands, we were down 20 units or something, 21 units, somewhere around there last week. We're now we were down, now we're down 13 units. 7 units of profit was made over the weekend. As it stands, I am doing the best at minus 2.1, Big Man minus 4.4, and Flash, where he normally sits, at the bottom, minus 7.2.
How long do I sit at the bottom for, though? Am I at the bottom when we get to the end of the season?
No, you're not, Flash.
I mean, Flash, not for nothing. I mean, you were bottom last year. I don't even think you were positive. I mean,
he was positive last year. He did. He scraped himself up from the bottom. But you did say when I told you the record, you said, that's all right, I'm back where I belong at the bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. This stage of the season, I'm a horse that likes to be held up.
Good.
Good banter after week
How's the
5.
horse racing going?
Sorry?
How is the horse racing going? I know that's where you are at the moment, right? With the horses in the back.
Hopefully we'll have a runner on Saturday, maybe 1 or 2, and then 4 or 5 on Monday and Tuesday.
Nice one. All right, listen, let us commence. 10 wonderful matches, some key matches, and some great bets this week, I think. Starting off, Fulham versus Watford. Fulham 2.45, Watford 3, draw 3.5, and I'm going to throw him into the deep end to start the first match prediction. Russ, what do you like on this plate?
I like Fulham and both teams to score. If you look at Watford, they've started the season really well. They've actually only played one away game this year, and that was away at Burnley where they won 3-1. But if you look at Burnley coming into that game, they just played the Europa League on a Thursday. Obviously, Watford, they beat Spurs. That was a great performance. They were unlucky against Man United. Fulham obviously lost away at Manchester City, but I like Fulham at home. I think there will be goals. And as I said, Fulham and both teams to score is my play here.
Wow, going with Fulham. That's interesting. Watford sort of were being coined as the Leicester from previous seasons, obviously suffering their first blow, losing to Manchester United. I think Flash and Big Man were both on that bet, obviously marking a run. I would be a bit nervous to take Fulham at home, to be honest with you. I was even looking at Fulham draw no bet. Big Man, are you playing the outright?
No, I'm not. I considered Watford here. I think they're a better side.
Yeah.
Fulham, I've been surprised. I thought they'd be a bit better on the defensive end. I mean, they've given up the most goals in this league so far, and that's been a concern. I mean, you get a guy like Ryan Sessegnon, he's supposed to help in defense and on the wings, but they haven't really been very good on that end. I mean, he makes a good point with the fact that they are at home here. Craven Cottage is always a good home field advantage. I consider both teams to score, but the number's too low for me. I get a feeling this is a draw, frankly, but I'm going to stay away from this one. I'm going to pass on this one to start us out. I just don't really see a ton of value on the game. I slightly lean Watford, but not enough to give it out as a pick. So for me, it's a pass between these two clubs.
Yeah. I would be nervous on the outright. I do like Russ's both teams to score, but you get that 1.65. Fulham scored 7. They've conceded 12. I think that's the most in Premier League so far this season, with Watford averaging about 2 goals a game. This should be really both teams to score over 2.5 goals game here. Flash, do you think there's goals on the cards in this fixture?
I'm not so sure. My first on my official play is going to be a pass, but the big problem I have is I want Watford to lose every week because I've got them to go down with Huddersfield and Cardiff, and yet last week, even though they got beat against Man United, they were still outstanding and could have come away with a point. So I can't go against Watford. I mean, I've gone against them 3 out the last 4 weeks, and they've bit me every time. Can't trust Fulham. I just think that there's too much spirit in this Watford camp. So I look for the value, and the value's on Watford, and I can't sit here and cheer on Watford. So for me, I'm like, no, thank you, leave it.
All right, leaving it there. There's a few. There's Giorgio Miglagio says fade Watford, and somebody else as well. What I say? Fulham says Stephen. I think Watford will now do 4 losses on the trot. So siding with you there, Russ. I'm just going to play the both teams to score bet 1.65. I do like the over 2.5 goals as well. 1.83. Burnley versus Bournemouth. Bournemouth 2.6. Burnley 2.99. Draw 3.3. Those odds with 10 bet. Burnley obviously down, not doing very well this season at all, bottom of the league. Things are not looking, they're looking good. Russ, we were playing, me and Big Man were playing Burnley quite a lot there, and making us money. I have to say Burnley are just in very poor form, leaning towards Bournemouth on this one. Big Man, is it time for our Burnley to turn around, or is it they suffering another loss this weekend?
No, I'm pretty much done with Burnley at this point. I think we're starting to see that this team is full of championship players, frankly. I mean, they have some good players, but there's just no one really very good on this side. I mean, they've really struggled, obviously, coming out of Europa League. I'm sick of betting on them with big prices and not really getting the money back. We made enough money on them last year. I feel like it's time to maybe jump away from them a little bit. I'm very high on Bournemouth. I've talked about this group many times. I think they're a pretty good side. Burnley generally very good at turf more, but this team seems poised to go down. I don't know if they're going to be able to rescue it. Sean Dyche, I feel like maybe should have moved on. At one point, I think he could have moved up to a better job and kind of left Burnley. I think he had achieved enough. It might be time to consider that at this point. I'm going to look towards Bournemouth here. I can get 2.7. I think that's a nice price here. I think they're the better side. At certain points, I think Burnley will get it going. They'll get out of that Europa League kind of stuff, and they're kind of getting to that now. But they're still a poor side. I'm going to go Bournemouth here at 2.7.
Yeah, I've got on my notes here, though, could this be Burnley's bounce back match, but very leaning towards Burnley. Also, we've got trends here. Last 4 head-to-heads have seen both teams to score and the over 2.5 goals. Hopefully goals on the cards in this match as well. Flash, do you think have you got a play for this one?
No, again, this is a pass, but this is like quite a solid pass, because the thing is with Burnley, you saw them against Wolves the other day. They could have been beat 10. This ain't the Burnley that we know, but there again, let's see what they're like now with a free week at home. I'm going to leave them for 1 more week and then have a good look. Can't have Bournemouth on the road. I mean, I think this is one of them where whichever of the 3 scores comes up, whether it be a home win, away win, or a draw, I mean, you could have said, yeah, I could see that happening. I think the first thing he's got to do is make sure Bournemouth don't score. So, I mean, I'm going to leave it alone. But if I was leaning to anything, I'd probably go for something like under 1.5.
Would you? Oh, wow. No, I total leans on this match. Bournemouth over 2.5 goals and both teams to score leans. What about you, Russ? Have you done your homework on this one and found something?
It's a tough one. The only one thing you can say about Bournemouth is that they have had a very kind first 5 games. Wins over Cardiff, West Ham, and Leicester. And again, they've not played any of the big 6. They performed really well. And I think at the start of the season, a few pundits had Bournemouth to go down. Obviously, now at 10 points, I think sitting in the top 6, it's a tough one. I favour the draw in this one. I think Burnley will give it a good go.
Yeah.
Flash, I think you're right. I think if Bournemouth do score first, they could go on and win. Again, Turf Moor is a tough place to go. I don't fancy Bournemouth to win on the road. I'm leaning towards a draw. I know you said under 1.5, under 2.5. Again, will be my play. I just don't think there will be that many goals.
All right, so we're going against the trend there. What are the odds, sir, you've got for that one, Russ, for the under 2.5?
Under 2.5 is 4 to 5, 1.8, and obviously the draw 21 to 10, 3.1.
All right. All right, so looking at a 1-1 draw there. Official pass for me, but do have leans. Cardiff versus Man City. Now, obviously, some of the games like Man City, Manchester United, and then on Thursday, obviously, is Chelsea. So we're obviously doing this before these games play. If you guys, obviously, right now, we're just sort of predicting as if there weren't any injuries, red cards, etc. If, obviously, something does change in any of these games, let me know, and then I will put it in the comment section below the video after we've finished, obviously before kickoff. So if your bet changes for the record, let me know and I'll put it underneath the description so everybody can see. But right now, Man City sit 1.17 away at Cardiff, draw 8 and Cardiff 22. Obviously, Cardiff were our sort of favourites there to finish bottom of the league this season, and they're not doing anything to really dispel that. They last met in January playing an FA Cup, Man City winning 2-0 on the road. This is another match. You've got such a heavy favourite. It's hard to find value. I've got a few bets, but not a tremendous amount of value. Now, Russ, I know you like to find sort of quite a lot of value in matches. Were you able to find anything in this one?
Man City to win and both teams to score. Cardiff did get a goal at Stamford Bridge. They scored 2 against Arsenal. I know you can't say a lot about that. Again, Arsenal's defence isn't that great. And I think the last time Cardiff played Man City at home, they actually won. So I'm not sure whether it's a good ground for Man City. And also, if you look at Man City's performances, I think they're winning a lot of games 2-1. Again, that could be a play this time. And I do fancy Cardiff to give it a good go. As Neil Warnock has said many times, they're not here to sit back. They won't sit back. And I think they'll score. I do think Man City will win. So, yeah, I think it's 3.0. Man City and both teams to score.
Yeah, but yeah, on my notes, Cardiff could score in this match at home. And you're right there, to a Stamford Bridge. Both teams to score as a separate bet, 2.45. Big man, you don't shy away from some of these big odds here. It seems like you and Russ have got something in common. Is that a bet that you would take here, betting on Cardiff to score against Man City?
Absolutely not. Listen, Russ, you seem like a nice guy, but come on, I think you're well aware this Cardiff team is one of the worst teams to ever grace the stage of Premier League. They're absolutely hideous. I don't even think they're going to get much possession, let alone score. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 80-20 possession. The only time they're going to get possession, I think, is at the beginning of the game when they kick the ball off and, maybe a random, knock once in a while. This team is pure garbage. They're not going to even touch the ball, let alone score. It's win to nil. That's the only play. Here's my thing. Why don't you take win to nil? I'd be more inclined to think they can't score than can. I know Man City's going to win. I can get win to nil 1.75 here. To depend on Cardiff to score. I mean, and Russ brings up that they scored against Arsenal. I mean, no offense, but me and 9 or 10 listeners can go score against Arsenal. And look, I think the game is a lot more like Fulham, frankly, a 3-0, 4-0. I wouldn't be against laying 2 goals here. This could be ugly for Cardiff.
Yeah, they did score against Chelsea, though. I have to put them in the lead after the 16th minute.
Yeah, but it was
Chelsea have the best defence at the moment.
Yeah, but we said that last week, big man. We actually said that don't do Chelsea to win to nil because David Luiz and Rudiger and all them, they'll score at a set piece, and that's exactly what they did.
And for all City's still only given up 3 goals in 5 games, and that's still very good. I mean, it's second best in the league. So, look, for me, it's City win to nil, 1.75.
All right, head to head there, Russ and Big Man. Let's see if Flash can make the decisive. What are you going with, Flash?
No, listen, there's only a Man City win for me, but it's just how you play it and how you get the value. I think there's a couple of ways that I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to do an in-play bet because I think that if Man City score early, then this could get ugly. Because they will keep going. They've got nothing to lose. They won't have that Rafa Benitez attitude of we're better off losing 1-0 than 5-0. And then also, but this comes in, I think there'll be a red card in the game. I think that some of the boys will break free. There's no pace at the back for Cardiff. So the boys are going to strip them and then they will get brought down. If they get brought down clean through on goal, there'll be a red card. So I firmly want to go with the red card. That will be my play. Obviously, we'll see what the odds on that are, but I'll definitely do an in-play on maybe Man City and over 3.5 or something like that.
Yeah, that's one I was looking as well. Man City in the over 3.5, 2.2. I just don't want to bet on whether Cardiff can score or not. Man City in the over 2.5 is 1.57. Also, Man City half-time, full-time, 1.6. But it's just not enough value. I would play the over 3.5 goals if Man City didn't have this game today. So it is an official pass, but leaning on the Man City and the over 3.5 goals, 2.2. Crystal Palace versus Newcastle now. Crystal Palace 2, draw 3.4. Newcastle 4.1. Obviously, Newcastle in dire form right now, 19th after 5 matches, but Crystal Palace not doing too much better. I have to say, both with a lack of scoring power between the two of them. Unders looks like quite a tempting play. 1.75. Flash. Both average less than a goal a game. Is this going to be an unders game?
No, I don't think it is. I'm going to buck the trend because I think they're going to throw caution to the wind, because both sets of fans that turn up at this game will actually look and think, whatever happens in the next 95 minutes, we can and should come away with 3 points. I think the safest play is both teams to score and over 2.5, because if it gets to 1-1, then listen, they've had so many chances, both of these. Palace could have scored 15 goals already this year, and they've got goals in them. And Newcastle won't be going there to defend and try and just nick a 1-0. They will be going there to make sure they get the 3 points. So for me, I'm going to go with Crystal Palace, both teams to score over 2.5, and it's a massive 2.5.
Wow. All right. So you're combining all three together there. The last 3 meetings have gone under, with the most recent, I think, was a 1-1 draw, then 1-0, 1-0, Newcastle. Are you going against the trend, big man?
No, I'm actually shocked to see this price at where it is. I mean, if I'm taking Palace here, I got to get more. I'm not putting off even odds on Crystal Palace right now. They just, time and time again, I've bid on these odds with this group, and they just never seem to always get it done. I mean, how many times, Natalie, have they been even money favorites against teams like this or Southampton or whoever, and they just don't come to play. I'm not interested in this price. I'd more or less be interested in a draw, frankly. I do think Newcastle are better than maybe they lead on, but it's a pass for me. Crystal Palace, Newcastle.
Yeah, draw.
Yeah, Nat, I'm not on Crystal Palace.
Oh, right. Okay, you're doing both teams scoring over 2.5 goals. I thought you were combining all
Correct.
3.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
all right,
no.
both teams to score the over 2.5 goals.
Want more than 6-4 for that.
Yeah. A draw at half-time also looks pretty tempting, 2.1. Russ, what have you got for us?
Wilfried Zaha anytime, 2.9. Big man, I totally agree with you on Crystal Palace. If they take Newcastle for granted, potentially like they did against Southampton, they could come unstuck. That was my first view looking at the game. In terms of the unders, yeah, as you said, look, it's Wilfried Zaha versus Newcastle. In my opinion, Newcastle haven't got that firepower. I do think it'll be the unders. Again, Zaha, though, I think he's on fire, and against the Newcastle defence that doesn't leak too many goals. However, I think they'll just leak the one, and that'll be to Wilfried Zaha. Okay. So that's my play here.
All right. Like Zaha versus Newcastle. Yeah, under 2.5 goals, I'm following trend. 1.75 is my bet. I also do quite like a draw at half-time as well. Leicester versus Huddersfield now, as Big Man says it. Leicester. 1.62, draw 3.9, Huddersfield 6.5, 11th and 18th respectively. Obviously, Huddersfield, a team pitted to be relegated at the end of the season. 1.62, it's low, maybe good for an ACCA filler, parlay filler. Big Man, what do you like in this match?
Well, look, I hate to say it. John Smith has just joined the chat and might be at a bad time, but listen, Cardiff are the worst team in the league, and Huddersfield aren't far away. This is a shocking team. If they stay up, if both these teams stay up, I will never do another video for soccer at SBR ever again. It's just never going to happen. 2 goals in 5 games. What the hell is that? I can go forward better than this team, and I'm vastly overweight and out of shape. It's not going to happen. I like Leicester here. I'm actually going to pump it up here a bit and go with Leicester win to 0. 2.4. I'm liking the thought here. I also like Leicester and under 4.5 at 1.85. I just don't see a ton of goals here, but I'm confident Leicester can go out and get the job done 2-0. Huddersfield are complete trash, and they will not be staying up this year. You can mark that down.
All right, all right. Oh, and John's he was sending me a message on Twitter saying that he hasn't been able to catch us live and he tunes in on this one time when big man slating Huddersfield. I have to say Huddersfield, I think at the average about 3.5, conceding 3.5 away goals. I'm definitely looking at combining the Leicester with another bet. What's your thoughts on Huddersfield, Russ, being relegated or not at the end of the season?
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. They might as well pack their bags now. Yeah, they were lucky last year that they just got enough points in the bag at the start of the season. Obviously, the second half of the season they faltered, and I was on them to get relegated, just under 2-1. But I was gutted it didn't happen. But this year it definitely will happen. Yeah, they're not a good team. They're not going to score too many goals. Leicester, as long as Leicester again don't go into the game full of confidence, they can get the job done here, because you look at Huddersfield away at Everton, they got a point. Can they get a point this time? Only if Leicester take them for granted. But I think Leicester will get the job done. I've got Leicester to win 2-0, so at 2.4. Just in terms of any scorers, the magic Harry Maguire. If Newcastle get plenty of set pieces, again he could be value any time to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay, and Flash, do you think, are you obviously both big man and Russ on Leicester to win 2-0 there? Do you think?
No.
No, you're on both teams to score on the over 2.5 goals.
No, I'm passing it because it's Huddersfield and I want them to lose every game. But how can you go with Leicester to win 2-0? It doesn't matter who they're playing. They are an absolute joke at the back. I mean, they let him 4 last week. They let him 2 the week before. They are so overrated at the back. Yes, I think that they'll probably win, but how they'll win, and I think they're like 1-2, that they are so overrated. It's just beyond me. I mean, obviously Wes Morgan got sent off last week as well, so they're going to bring someone else to go against the most overrated defender in the country, in Harry Maguire. Mm-hmm. So
come on,
not
Flash,
for me.
stop.
I'm passing.
Stop with this.
What does he bring to the table,
they're
big man?
They're not playing Man City, They're playing Huddersfield.
No, they're playing the team. Let me tell you now, right? Well, what does he give you? He plays in a team that let him 3 and 4 every week.
They did beat Wolves 2-0 at home. So again, whether Wolves were a bit overconfident going to
Russ. Yeah, but Russ, see, that's when the scoreline disguises, and I'll give you 2 different disguises. Wolves hit the woodwork 3 times in that game from chances that they should have scored, right? Also, Huddersfield, another disguise, went to Everton, drew 1-1, and absolutely battered Everton, and should have won 3, 4, 5 if they'd have took their chances. I don't think Huddersfield go here and win. I just would be very, very shocked if Leicester kept a clean sheet.
There we go. I think I'm going to go, I think it was Flash mentioned mine, Leicester and the under 4.5 goals, or big man I think it was, 1.83. Yeah. But I also like Leicester and the over 1.5 goals. I think it's going to be a 2-0 or a 2-1. Leicester and the under 4.5 goals, 1.83. Liverpool versus Southampton now. Liverpool 1.2, draw 7.5, and Southampton 15. Liverpool, obviously, what a great start to their season, undefeated, challenging Chelsea for the first place right now, and just difference in goal difference. Beat PSG, gave us the match that we were all predicting there, 3-2 winner. Obviously 1.2 is low, but it does offer us that time to sort of combine it with something and get a little bit more value. Start us off, Russ, on this match. Obviously, when we were chatting before, you were liking the over 3.5 goals in the PSG game. That was a winner. Have you got a winner for us today?
I'm going to put up 2 here. Again, obviously, this is providing that Sadio Mane starts. Again, Sadio Mane to score any time at 3.0. And obviously, Southampton scored 2 home to Brighton. They won at Palace. Don't think Liverpool's defence is as sure as everyone thinks. And obviously, they've spent 65 million on new keeper. Van Dijk and Gomez, everyone's saying are top draw. Again, great fullbacks. I think Liverpool will win. They'll come out the blocks. They'll do what they usually do. There may well be a slight hangover from this PSG win because of, again, it was obviously a wonderful night for them at Anfield. 3-1, 4.0, Liverpool to win and both teams to score.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah, but you're going to Liverpool to win and both teams to score. Nice. Okay, so you're Sadio Mane to score any time if he starts first, and Liverpool and both teams to score. Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Obviously, that they really sharpened their defence from last season, but from the hangover from PSG, they could let one slip here. Obviously, 0 conceded at home. This is probably going to be their first one. Flash, what's your thoughts on this game? Saints obviously averaging just over a goal a game at the moment.
Or you could say they're averaging 2 goals a game in the last 2. But I can't have Southampton. They let me down. They were my nap last week. 2-0 up, cruising. And you know my language is always good on here. Their arses absolutely dropped out when they were 2-0 up playing in front of their home fans. They were a complete and utter joke. They all panicked. You're 2-0 up in a game. That's when you should be enjoying it and olaying. They were absolutely... Their bottle went. Now, if your bottle's going to go at home when you're 2-0 up, what's it going to be like when you're up against the number 1 offensive side in the Premier League? Listen, I can't see anything other than a Liverpool win. How they win, I think this might be a game where he gets 1 up, maybe 2 up, and he takes them boys off. And that's even if he starts with them.
Yeah.
I can't play the game.
All right, official pass there from Flash. Big man. Obviously, big man, you warned Flash, and Flash even went as far as making Saints' banker his nap. Big man said, stay away. He really told you, Flash. You didn't listen. Big man, what do you think?
But he still went for Brighton, though.
Yeah, because it had value, Flash. I don't lay prices with shit teams like Southampton. Listen, imagine your life when your best player is Danny Ings, for Christ's sakes. I mean, imagine that. I mean, Russ, you're a new guy on the show. Imagine your life when your best player is Danny Ings. I mean, imagine that. It's just that.
It's a long journey. It's a long train journey up from Southampton to put it all on Ings' shoulders.
Amen. And here's the problem: Liverpool are the best team in the world. I know no one in England wants to admit that because they're all in love with their own clubs and they don't want to kiss the motherfucking ring. But at the end of the day, they're the best team in the world right now. Okay, so you might as well get on with "You'll Never Walk Alone" and make it as your ringtone because that's what you're going to be hearing a lot. Liverpool -2. They beat Southampton. They actually exposed Southampton for the bums that they are. Danny Ings couldn't even get off the bench for a minute in garbage time for Liverpool. Now he's the best player on the other team. Give me Liverpool or give me death. Liverpool -2. They win 3-4-0 in this one.
Yeah, just be careful of that Champions League hangover.
Exactly what I was going to say. It's exactly what I was going to say. I think
don't let many goals in.
Could take Liverpool a bit of time to get on the score sheet.
Here's the thing, guys, and I was hoping you guys would discuss this. Take a guess at how many goals Saints scored last year against the top 5 teams in the league. I'll answer it for you. 4. Not very many where I come from. This is matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to change my play. I'm going to go Liverpool win to 0, 1.85. I like that better.
You check around 1.91. I got that one. Ronaldo's just been red carded, by the way, in Juventus game.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I know. And Leon's up 1-0. Man City game. Turn of events in this. I knew these fixtures were tougher. I said it. I knew
had
it.
Ronaldo to score any time.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Damn. Right.
What about the free game ban he's going to get?
I'm going to go for Liverpool and the under 4.5 goals. Smidge of value at 1.6. I don't want to back whether Southampton can score or not. I think they could possibly because of the hangover from PSG. But Liverpool will keep the game tight. So Liverpool in the under 4.5 goals at 1.6. I was actually also looking at Saints +2 at 1.91. So if they lose by 2, you win half your stake. I thought that looked quite a good one, but I'm not playing it. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, listen, I mean, the only
I
one you
said
can
it's
go
the-
with is Southampton actually went to Man City when Man City were flying last year and only got done in the 91st minute. So, I mean, yeah, you couldn't see it like that. And you obviously, what was it? We was all on Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, and don't think I'm fading Liverpool, and don't think I'm going to dog them because they are the best side at the moment. I mean, they are absolutely sizzling and a great watch as well. But teams will start going there and putting 25 men behind the ball and just trying to hit them on the break or on a set piece.
Yeah. Wow.
If you're a referee, I haven't seen it yet, but if you're a referee, how do you send Ronaldo off? I mean,
I don't know.
What happened there?
Well,
They
let's
do.
How
crack
does that
on and then we can go back and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Flash has got a plate of melon there that's probably staring at him, giving him eyeballs, don't you, Flash?
All gone.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, I ate it while Big Man and Russ were talking. I've done all passes so far.
I was going to say, you are supposed to, have you got
Got
any
something up your
plays for
sleeve.
this week?
There's something up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've done Crystal Palace, haven't I? The Crystal Palace game, both teams are scoring over 2.5, and Man City and to win and over 3.5.
All right. Manchester United
But you're-
versus... Hmm?
No, go on. I'm ready now. You're coming into my games.
Okay. I'm glad you're
Here
ready,
we go.
Flash. Manchester United versus Wolves. Man United 1.62, draw 4.1, Wolves 6.15. You'll be happy to know I'm not on the Manchester United win again. Obviously, you guys made some money from their win last week. Big Man, are you on Manchester United again? I know it's low 1.62. Would you combine it with something?
No, I'm actually going to jump off here. I'm going to take Wolves +1. I think Wolves have been fairly unlucky. I think they're a really good side, as we've talked about. I think United obviously coming in have a trip to Switzerland that they have to deal with. Young boys are always very good at home, so that could be one that they put a lot into. I could see them hanging around Wolves. I think they grab a goal or two that they might not have. I think they start finding the back of the net that they haven't been. I'm going to take Wolves +1
Ooh.
at 1.8. I think they can hang around. I think they could even get a draw or something here. I'll
Yeah.
take a shot with that.
Yeah, that was one of my leans as well here. Obviously, recently beating Spurs 2-1. Watford Wolves +1. Sorry. Wolves won 1.83. I found I've got a different bet for this match. Also, as well, I did say on the other videos, because we clipped some of these videos, and this is going to be a clip, that obviously Manchester United are playing today. So if anything changes, if you guys want to change your bet, obviously based on the outcome of the match today, let me know and I'll put it in the comment section below the video and amend the record. What do you like here, Russ?
I've seen Wolves a few times, and they are a fantastic team. They keep the ball well. Defensively, they're good. The keeper, Patricio, is absolutely superb. If you remember, he made that absolutely world-class save at home to Man City. Going forward, Jimenez, Neves, Jota, they're packed with fantastic players that will love and can't wait to get to Old Trafford to play on a great surface. Again, it depends which Wolves team turn up. If they, again, not take Manchester United for granted, but they go there and they go and attack and obviously can get caught on the counter-attack, perfect for United. Again, if United's top players turn up, they can get the job done. This is a no play for me. If I was, it would be Manchester United to win by 1 goal. But I said I'm going to stay clear of this one. It's too tight to call. I think either three outcomes, home draw and away, could happen. I think Wolves could win there.
Yeah, that's why I really like Big Man's bet there. Wolves +1, 1.83. Obviously, Flash, that's kind of like a comment that I think you've used with Wolves, saying, depends the Wolves that turn up to this match. What have you said? This is where you get going now. So what's your pick?
Yeah, this is my nap of the weekend, and it's Man United to win and under 3.5 goals. And the reason I like it so much is that I think that he's fallen into finding a role for Fellaini, so they don't just play in the wrong areas and they can go from back to front. I think they're really solid on set pieces, and I like the energy last week. I backed Man United again after 5-10 minutes of the game because they had Lingard, they had Sanchez. They all seem to be running around. There seems to be a desperation of knowing that the points that they've already dropped, they can't drop them anymore.
Yeah.
They cannot drop anymore. It's game day. This like European, they'll breeze through the European, but now the boys have got to put points on the board in the Premier League. Otherwise, unless they win the Champions League, they will not be there next year because it's going to get tougher and tougher to be in that top four. So Man United, for me, will win and under 3.5 goals. So that brings in whatever you like. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1.
All right, well, let's hope it's 2-1 because my play for this match is both teams to score 1.91, although I really like big mans as well. It's one of my favourites as well. Brighton versus Tottenham now. Tottenham 1.8, draw 4, Brighton 4.5 odds with 10 bets. This is definitely one. There's one more. No, yeah, this is one of the bets that I like as well. Obviously, bounce back match for Spurs, 1.8 on the road. Brighton having a tough time, obviously, just win under their belt, which was to Manchester United that we all know about. Tottenham, though, obviously lost their match yesterday to Inter, the 2 back-to-back Premier League losses. They do have to bounce back. And a little bit what you were saying, Flash, there about Manchester United. Tottenham can't lose any more points at this sort of like early stage in the game. What's your play here?
100% Spurs will win. I mean, you look at it, Spurs look absolutely tired, but you've got to look at where the threats are going to come from Brighton, and they'll be down the sides. And the one place that Spurs will have enough is down the sides, obviously in the fullbacks with their athleticism. Also, I expect to see maybe Lamela come in because he's fresh. I expect Son to start. I think we have to go back so many years for Tottenham to win 3 Premier League games on the trot. There'll be too much for these, and it'll be because he makes changes. I know that Trippier will come back in. I know that Vertonghen will come back. And Toby will come back in. But I also expect to see a little bit more freshness going forward.
Yeah.
So I think it's 1.75 Spurs.
I got 1.8 from 1.8
okay,
earlier.
1.8.
Yeah. Obviously, as well, Tottenham were actually looking strong in the Inter game in the second half. The first half, they weren't. I think that 1.8 there, they should get the job done. What do you like here, big man?
I don't like anything. I'm not really into Tottenham right now. I think they're kind of I think Flash is dead right. I think they're tired. Brighton are generally pretty good at Amex Stadium, so it wouldn't surprise me if Brighton found a way to win. I think this could be a decent, big money, take a shot with a big dog, but it's going to be a pass. I have some plays for the final game, so I'm going to avoid this one.
All right, Bazillionaire says it's definitely not 100% Spurs win. Russ, do you agree, disagree? What have you got?
I've got goals, plenty of them. In terms of Spurs, obviously being an Arsenal fan, I was actually at the Watford game against Spurs, and to be fair, I couldn't believe what I saw after Spurs scored early in the second half. I thought they'd go on to win comfortably 2 or 3-0, but whether they set back, they just couldn't cope with Watford down the flanks in the air, and obviously Watford came out winners, and after Watford scored their second, I think there was a half chance from Kane, and that was it. Obviously, home to Liverpool played really well, and again, obviously the last couple of games that Spurs have played, they have looked tired. I agree they'll definitely make changes. If you look at Brighton, they've drawn their last 2 games 2-2. Mm-hmm. They beat United 3-2 at home. Mm-hmm. I think they will score. Spurs, as we know, if they do make changes, whether it's Kane, Son, Eriksen, if Ali comes back, they've got plenty on the scoring front. So both teams to score over 2.5. I'd even have a half a point or a quarter point on Spurs to win 3-2 at 26. But I do think there will be goals in this one for sure.
All right, goals on the cards. At the end of the show, Russ, I'm going to go down because I keep a record. So just go through the bets that you want to play. Normally we have like one like NAP or banker, which is like 2 units, and then all the other ones are like 1 unit. So you can decide what you want to do for your official record. So just giving you a heads up there. Bazillionaire, though, is going on here. Basically, he totally disagrees. He completely likes the Brighton win. And then Patrick Farrell has got Brighton plus 0.5 at 2.21. John Smith, though, says Spurs to win. Systems suit Tottenham. There we go. Penalty to United. Oh. It's tough when Champions League matches are playing. It's hard to fully concentrate.
It's
last two
sad, really.
matches.
I just don't have it on. I just don't
Well,
have it
I
on.
don't.
Sad to
They're
Can you be?
commenting, aren't they? They're distracting.
Yeah, these commenters act like
Who
we
are?
don't. We
The
don't.
people are commenting. Just Flash, because you don't have the comment box open, you see.
Well, of
Penalty-
course I don't. Why would I?
Because some people write to you, Flash, like your.
Well, yeah, but Big Man looks after my mail. He lets me know when people want to talk to me.
Yeah, he does. He does. And then he'll read them out as well. All right, we've got two final matches. Sunday's matches here. West Ham versus Chelsea. Chelsea 1.53, draw 4.5, and West Ham 6.5. Prognosticos Deportivo has been reminding me all week that West Ham won. Yes, they did. We went head-to-head with one of our commenters there.
How many
Wes.
times we hear that?
How many times? Hopefully until they
I
lose
wonder
to
how many
Chelsea.
times we'll hear that.
Chelsea,
Yeah, I mean, he's-
1.53. West Ham, 6.5. I think West Ham's luck from last weekend has run out. They played Chelsea, top of the league, strong in attack and defence. Obviously, the only thing to consider is that Chelsea have got a Europa League match on Thursday at Poak. So something to consider there. I can start us off here. Chelsea -1 at 2.06 on the Asian handicap. And I've put a moral. That's the words that Flash uses. A moral. Is it a moral, Flash?
No, I'm going to buck the trend here, and I've got two official plays for this game. This will be the first time I've done this in a while, and I'm going for the draw at 4.5, and I'm going for West Ham double chance at 2.5. If you go back over the years, they do all right. West Ham do all right against Chelsea, and on the back of them scoring 3. Now I know, and this will be linked into the next game as well. Everton were absolutely all over the place, got injuries. They looked so disjointed, but they still look like a team that found a little bit of confidence as the game went on. And the one thing you can't throw at West Ham is they're very athletic, they're very strong. And hopefully on the back of this, there'll be a great atmosphere. This is a London derby. They don't like each other, and it happens to be live on the telly. So for me, I'm going with a home side to give me double value.
Deja vu. I've heard that recently live on the telly.
Yeah, listen. West Ham Chelsea is a completely different game to Southampton versus Brighton on a Monday night, I promise you.
What was your reasoning that, because they know they're on the telly, so they're going to pull their bootstraps up?
Listen, that's why. Listen, how many times do you have wonky results when it's live on the telly, when it's the featured game? It's always the way. It's always the way. Players know that the nation's watching them.
All right. Live on the telly.
Well,
West
listen,
Ham
you
is
can
going
go
to do
like
a
that.
number on
You
Chelsea.
can go like that,
Well,
but
I
I
do
know
know that
because I've
Chelsea
done
have
that.
been unable to beat last season. I think it was a 1-1 draw and then a 1-0 win to West Ham. What do you like here, big man? Do you think live on the telly, West Ham going to do something?
No, and actually, it's funny. I had someone tell me last year that they thought the Yankees were going to win the game over here because Derek Jeter's jersey was retired before the game, and that was supposedly going to make the Yankees play better. Flash, listen, I love your opinions on everything, but I think that's one of the worst opinions you've ever given about something. Why would that matter? I mean, again, these are Premier League teams. These are the highest of the high. I don't think that means a whole lot. I also don't necessarily think, and I think, Flash, I'll follow it up with a point that you made last week that was terrific. I don't know that I trust Chelsea's defense the way I think a lot of people do.
Really?
Some of that back line aren't great. I mean, Luis, Rudiger, guys like that I'm not in love with. I'm going to look towards maybe over 2.5 in this game. I think it can go over. I think we could see both teams score as well. I think this is 2-1. I'm going to look towards that. Both teams have scored over 2.5 at 1.95. I think West Ham are starting to find it a little bit. I think they're better going forward than maybe they've let on. I'm going to go with both teams to score and over 2.5.
All right. I've just been given the 2-minute warning as well. My bet for the match is officially going to be at Chelsea and the over 1.5 goals. What are you going for, Russ?
Chelsea to win, both teams to score. I think Chelsea will rest a lot of players in the Europa League, so he'll keep everyone fresh. The Hazards, Giroud, Willian, They'll be fresh. West Ham are obviously buoyant after the win at Everton. Yarmolenko scored 2, and Arnautovic as well. If Arnautovic is on fire, again, plus Yarmolenko getting his 2, they will score. Chelsea's defence isn't that great, but I think Chelsea's super power will prevail over the 90 minutes. So Chelsea and both teams to score.
All right, so we're against Flash, but sometimes that's a good thing. So there we go. But listen, sometimes Flash has had that last laugh. Right, we've got one more. We've got 1.5 minutes. Arsenal versus Everton. Arsenal 1.5, draw 4.8, Everton 6.5 odds with 10bet. We have a special promo code, SBR10bet or SBR10bet UK, depending on where you are signing in for the first time, and you get special discounts. This one's an easy one. Really one of my favourite bets. Not a ton of value, but I think it's a sure bet, if ever there is such a thing. Both teams to score 1.67. You've got a shoddy Arsenal defence. Everton should score at least 1 goal. 1.67, both teams to score. I'd be nervous, though, combining with the Arsenal win, although tempted. What will you go for, Russ?
Arsenal were fantastic at home to Everton. I think it was 5-1 last year. They've won 4 on the spin at home to Everton. I'm not going to tip Arsenal as a fan on my first show, but I am going to go over 3.5 goals. I think there's plenty of goals here. Arsenal can score, Arsenal can concede. I think Everton will look to try and get on the score sheet. Theo Walcott back at Arsenal, and I think Everton will get on the score sheet. So over 3.5 goals in the match.
All right, wonderful stuff. Big man.
Everton are my surprise team this year. I'm going to go both teams are scoring over 2.5 at 1.95. That is also going to be my banker.
Ooh, all right. Okay, what are you going for, Flash?
Arsenal -1, 2.1.
Head to head. All right. We are out of time. If I can just quickly get your nap, and if you have a 2-team parlay, and then email me your bets, and then I will add them to the bet record there. Flash, what's your nap? And 2-team parlay.
Man United to win and under 3.5 goals at 2.3. And my parlay is Spurs to win at 1.8 and Arsenal -1 at 2.1.
All right, splendid stuff. Big man, what do you got?
Banker, both teams to score over 2.5, Arsenal and Everton. 2-team parlay, I'm going to go with Manchester City win to 0. And I'm going to parlay that with Liverpool win to 0, 1.85.
Wonderful. Russ, I didn't tell you about this part of the show. Do you have your favourite bet, and do you have a 2-team parlay? It's okay if you have neither.
I think both teams to score, Brighton Spurs, and the parlay. Let's keep it with both teams to score and go Brighton Spurs, Arsenal Everton, and West Ham Chelsea.
All right, eggs in one basket there. I'm snivelling, I've got a cold. Manchester United versus Wolves, both teams to score 1.91 is my play of the weekend. And I'm going to do a 2-team parlay, Arsenal versus Everton, both teams to score 1.67. And I am going to do Leicester and the over 1.5 goals as the combined there at 2.05. All right, that wraps up the show, guys. Thank you so much. Big thank you to Flash, Big Man, and of course, new guest Russ, and to everybody watching. Enjoy the rest of the Champions League. Best of luck with your bets, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
See you soon. Thanks, Nat.
Yeah, thank you.